The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
Welcome to another segment of UCW Radio, and this is your host, Lou, a.k.a. Falcon Coparis. And I want to thank all of our listeners for the continued support just by listening to the show. Now, today on the show, we're going to have a very special guest. I'm honored to have her on the show. She was one of the most dominant forces in women's competitive martial arts for years. She made history, actually. She graces both film and TV screens internationally. And still, to date, she is part of a team that runs the largest martial arts tournaments in the United States. Now, before we bring her on the line, I have to give you some information. Listeners can actually call in when the show is live. Get a pen and write down the number. It's 323-215-1446. That's 323-215-1446. Even when the show is over, you can actually leave a message. And I do listen to all the messages. And if you have a question for one of our guests, feel free to leave it, even if the guest is going to be on in a couple of weeks. If it's interesting enough, trust me, it will be played on for the show for all to hear. And also, if you're on Twitter, then shoot me out some questions or comments while we're live, and we'll read them off. You'll know who the guest is so that you can shoot them some questions. You can shoot them out. We'll pose the questions and hopefully get some answers. My Twitter name is Louis Velazquez. That's LouisVelazquez. Follow me and ask away. Now, without further ado, let's patch in one of the most iconic female martial artists in the world today, Miss Christine Bannon Rodrigues. Hi, Christine. Welcome to UCW Radio, and I want to thank you in advance for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here.
Well, that's good to hear. Chris, you're a martial artist first and foremost, but not just any martial artist. You are a world champion, and during your competitive days, you were ranked as one of America's top-rated women martial art competitors. Now, you went from the mat to Hollywood, and you've accomplished more in your lifetime than most martial artists hope to do. You've done a lot. Your credentials are off the charts. I know I'm missing a lot of it. I know that you've graced almost the cover of every martial arts, major martial arts, even smaller martial arts publications all over the world. But I think that what I want to do here is start at the beginning. So can you tell us what drove you into getting into martial arts, what drove you into this whole world?
Well, ironically, it was just an after-school activity. I had tried a lot of different sports. I had played basketball, played softball, figure skating, gymnastics, and I gave them all a good run and tried them, and, I didn't really appeal to me. I enjoyed sports, but there was nothing that really clicked, and a girlfriend of mine asked me if I wanted to join karate. Her brother was taking it with my husband at the time, and, I said, sure, I'll try it. And I don't know, we started the classes off, and within a year, she had quit, and I fell in love with it, and, I knew that was what I wanted to do.
Oh, it's just something that just came to you at that moment. You had like a revelation, I guess.
Yes, and, started into the competition realm, and, by the time I was an orange belt, so, I started, just trying to earn my black belt and get involved in the competition pretty early, so.
Oh, well, that's what drove you into getting into it. Now, I have to ask you, was there anything else beyond that, one individual or one circumstance that you can credit to pushing your desire further in martial arts? Because you've achieved a lot, so I think that's of interest.
Yes, once I got involved in it, no one really pushed me to get into it other than my girlfriend, but once I was involved in it, I definitely have to give credit to my husband as far as pushing me to the limit and helping me believe that I could achieve anything that I wanted to, and just helping me get out there and compete and win the local and then national and then international championships, and and then getting involved into the film industry. So he was the one that really pushed me. I think it's important to have someone who's really willing to work, but also someone willing to guide and coach you to that level.
No, without a doubt, you need not only the support behind you, but you also need a little more beyond that. That's Don Rodrigues, your husband, and he's a great guy. You're a world champion martial arts competitor. I mentioned that earlier. You're retired at this point, right?
Right.
From that area of martial arts, anyway.
Yeah.
You're deeply involved in the industry. What were some of your highlights during your competitive career?
I would definitely say, going into the World Championships was one of my highlights. The first one I went to was in Italy, in Venice, and I had won a gold medal in forms and a bronze in fighting. And once I had competed there, I said I didn't care if I competed at another local or a national event again. I just wanted to go back there. Competing against 80 plus countries was as close as you're going to get to, being in the Olympics. And, it was just so cool seeing all the different nationalities and, between the judges and the competitors that just, all speak different languages and have their own, culture and everything. And it was just really, really fun to go against the very best person from every single country. Every country was allowed to bring in one competitor. Now I think they might be able to take two per division, but, it was really fun. And so my goal was to go back and, really wanted to win. I had won national titles in forms, fighting, and weapons in all three categories, but I wanted to do that at the World Championships. So that's what I set as a goal, and went back, in England and achieved that. And then, I think a lot of the different countries out there, some of them are very in the old age of where the women walk behind the men, and they don't get very much respect. And, when I won 3 gold medals, pretty much everyone was saying that it was a fluke thing, and, it was a very odd, lucky thing that happened, and it could never be done again. And, I had broken a world record because no one had ever accomplished that before, male or female. So when I heard that after I came home, it kind of got me aggravated and wanted me to go out and do it again and prove them all wrong. So I set that as a goal to go back again and do it again. And I did. I went back to the next World Championship 2 years later in Atlantic City and achieved that and won 3 more gold medals. So that was probably my highlight, is winning the 3, but then going back and doing it again.
Well, winning the 3, you made history. Doing it again, you became iconic in martial arts competition as far as the women's division is concerned, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And that was what, in 91 and 93?
Right.
Okay. Now, can you tell us what you're doing now? I know that you do a lot because you have a school, you train kids. How are you contributing to the growth of martial arts as it relates to the youth? Because I personally believe that is in anything in society. The youth is what you have to mold for the future. So,
right.
What are you doing in regards to that?
Well, just teaching the kids. We start kids as young as 3 years old, and all the way up. And it's not just teaching them how to kick and punch, but teaching them, about the peer pressure and just being their own person, and the discipline and the self-discipline of being able to know that they can achieve anything. I mean, I think it really makes a huge impact in their life as far as where they're going. And kids that might have been dropouts in school are off in the college becoming doctors and huge success. And I think, it has a lot to do with what we do with them in the karate school and how we get their mentality and their thinking and keep them on track. And, like I said, it's not just the kicking and punching that they're learning. They're learning, the character development and everything else. So I find that very, very important. And I think it should be a necessity for all children to take martial arts. I wish we could do that.
I agree with you. A lot of people do mistake martial arts and say, well, I'm going to go learn how to hurt somebody. I'm going to learn how to defend myself. That's great. That's part of it. But that's, believe it or not, and you know this, that's